Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Mic, our first edition for this season, and we come because it's time for the Patriot League season to begin. I'm Gary Laubach, along with Mike Joseph. We'll be in the booth on Saturday. We'll hope you are going to be here at the stadium, or, of course, you can watch us on the Lafayette Sports Network. And, Mike, obviously, nothing that happens prior to the start of the Patriot League is as important as the start of the Patriot League. So let's look at that first. When you come in 0-3, as Lafayette does, and Bucknell comes in 1-2, obviously getting the first win is important. But in this situation, there's so much pressure, I think, on both these teams to win this ball game to make the rest of the season really important.
I think the pressure's there for both, like you said, because you got to find out what type of team you are. Really, at this point, both teams not having a win under their belt, they really don't know or have an identity. They don't know how good they are on offense or how good they are on defense. In Lafayette's case, they played, I think, a tremendous talent level. I think Sacred Heart was better than everybody we thought, and William & Mary was tremendous. And Penn, Ivy League champions. So I think the identity is there is who are we? Can we run the football? Can we stop the run? And I think once they figure that out, and I think at the end of this game, both teams will have a little bit better idea of what type of team they are and where they're going to go from here.
You and I both spend time, a lot of time actually, looking at numbers and statistics. And when you look at Bucknell's numbers on the defensive side of the football, they obviously are a team that does not allow another team to rush the ball. I mean, they only give up 70 yards per ball game, but teams are able to throw on them, which leads one to believe that if you decide you're going to stop the run, you're not going to stop the pass.
It's either sometimes one or the other, but they are tremendous against the run, and they run a little bit different defense. You'll see a 4-2-5. Very active in the secondary against the run. I think they're willing to give up some of the bubble screens and some of the outside throws that we've seen them give up in the past, but you're just not going to run the football on them, and I think that's where you start each week as a defensive coordinator is let's stop the run and make the other team do something maybe that they don't want to do, because usually when you throw it, two of the three things that can happen are bad. So and don't put it by Bucknell. They have some good secondary players as well. They're young all the way across the field, but they always put a tremendous amount of linebackers that can run and defend.
We haven't run the ball very well anyway. Do you change your defensive scheme a little bit to maybe keep us from passing the ball as much as maybe the other teams have done against Bucknell?
Well, I thought that last year. I really did. I thought Bucknell would come in and say, listen, we have to take away Ross and we have to take away some of the other talents that they have, but they really didn't. They said you're not going to run the football, and we ended up throwing the football pretty well against them. And Andrew Shue had a nice game getting the ball. I thought it was his most complete game last year. The question is, can we have is Weiss going to be back, or is it going to be Zurich? But some of the passes I think Mickey will have in are going to be easy throws, something you can get out of his hand pretty quick, which we saw at the end of the Penn game. And you and I were both impressed with the way Lafayette moved the football at the end of Penn last week.
And interestingly enough, both these teams come in with questionable starting quarterbacks. Mike has already mentioned about Zach Swizik suffering a concussion in the Penn game. And, of course, Brandon Wesley with a leg injury did not play last week either in their loss to Sacred Heart 16-0. So when we talked to both coaches, the word questionable came up, so we're not exactly sure who is going to start. From a mental standpoint, with the bye week to get yourself kind of refreshed, reinvigorated, and now knowing it's the Patriot League, really, that's the most important thing. I would like to think that the Leopards are going to come out on fire.
I think with the bye week makes a tremendous difference. Having the 2 weeks to kind of put away what happened early in the season. Remember, Lafayette had a heartbreaker in the first game and then didn't play well against William & Mary, but like I said, last week I thought they played pretty well, or 2 weeks ago. So the bye week couldn't have come at a better time, and I think Lafayette's going to be ready to play this week. They're home, which makes a big difference, I think, being able to come home, friendly confines, and then maybe get off to a good start, because they're going to need it.
Mike is going to go back to work, too, this week on Inside the Huddle. So please make sure that you check that out on GoLeopards.com. And for Behind the Mic and GoLeopards.com, I'm Gary Laubach for Mike Joseph. Thanks for joining us.